Okay, where are you located?
Oh.
553 Sheldon. Okay, can you tell me what's going on there?
Just hurry up, please. I'm gonna die. It's me. You already killed my please. Hurry up, please. 911 emergency.
Wow.
From the 553 Sheldon, my sister's not moving.
Oh.
What's the address?
553 Sheldon, there's blood everywhere. My sister's not moving.
Oh, no.
He's one of the most wanted men in America,
Wow.
accused of two women in the Grand Rapids home that he shared with them.
Oh, wow. This is from a YouTuber named Gritty, Gritty. It's called The Girl Who Was Murdered by Her Aunt's Psycho Boyfriend While Calling 911. Hit the thumbs up button. Let's go ahead and continue on.
There's a legend that some people are able to sense when they're about to pass on, almost like they can anticipate when they're close to their end. It is said to be a special gift, as most people are often caught off guard. For Kiona Griffin, the experience was different. She had witnessed her aunt's life taken away right before her, and she knew she was next. Tragically, she had only a fleeting moment to make a 911 call to ask for help before her life was abruptly taken away. Why was Kiona's life tragically ended in such a horrific way? And why hasn't the man responsible been caught? Let's discover the mystery behind what happened to Kiona Griffin in the story of the girl who was murdered by her aunt's psycho boyfriend while on the phone with 911.
The usual part about it is how he's been able to just completely disappear.
On March 13th, 2019, just before 10:30 a.m., 911 operators in Grand Rapids, Michigan, received a chilling call for help from a caller who only identified herself as Kiona.
911 emergency.
I need help.
Hello?
I need help.
Okay, where are you located? I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you. Are you able to tell me where you're located?
Oh, this is terrible.
No.
Oh, Lord.
Are you at a...
553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast. Please hurry now.
From the phone call, it was clear Kiona was terrified, and speaking in a whisper makes it very clear that she's not alone, and possibly in the same room as the person she's terrified of.
Oh, Lord.
Though she's
Jesus
really
Christ.
scared, Kiona stays on the phone to make sure the dispatcher got her address very clearly.
Okay, I got
wow.
Sheldon. What's the number?
553. Hurry, please. Hurry up.
553 Sheldon. Okay, can you tell me what's going on there?
She's saying, please hurry.
Just hurry up, please. I'm gonna die. It's
Oh,
me.
no.
You already killed my please.
Oh, I already killed my aunt.
Okay, ma'am, I'll start the police that way. Can you tell me what your name is? Okay, I've got a call entered, so we're going to get the police started that way, all right?
Oh, no.
Though Kiona said please hurry up several times during the call, it would take officers 7 minutes and 41 seconds to arrive at the house,
damn.
and when they did, they seemed to be missing the sense of urgency that should be expected given how scared Kiona sounded on the phone. The details related to the officers who showed up at the address Kiona gave was limiting and missed a lot of the details Kiona gave on the phone. In fact, they somehow missed the most important information of that phone call, that there had already been a murder, and Kiona feared she would be next.
Whoa.
They were told there was a woman inside who felt she would be attacked by someone inside the house. As they approached the house, one of the officers said the call might be a 96, and then said that might make the situation interesting. For those who aren't familiar with police terms, a 10 to 96 is usually used to reference the caller having any kind of mental illness.
This call looked interesting.
Oh, this is the actual body cam footage.
I'm trying to kill her. Sounds like she could be 96 too, you know.
Categorizing the situation right off the bat, before they know what they're dealing with, is kinda bizarre. But the three officers who showed up at the address proceeded to knock on the door, but no one answered. They proceeded to knock several times, and still, no one came to the door. They listened for sounds in the house, but it was dead silent. They then decided to get a look into the house from the window to see if they would be able to see anything. Anything that could be a reason for them to gain entry into the house with permission from a person who lived there or a warrant, neither of which were possible at the time. One officer in particular then checked out the side door of the home and waited a few seconds to see if anyone would come to the door. No one came. He knocked on the side door a number of times and got the same dead quiet, almost as if no one was home. When they didn't get any response from the doors, which were locked at the time, the officers took a look around the house to see if they would find anything. You see, they're not allowed to make their way into their house without either being invited, having a warrant to enter, or having probable cause.
Right.
Finding something suspicious or alarming around the house might give them probable cause, but nothing in the compound jumps at them.
They had to leave then.
This just goes around. There's nothing in the back here.
If the officers had been told there already had been a murder inside of the house, like Kiona said on the phone, they would have had probable cause to force their way into the house.
Right. Damn.
Instead, after a few minutes of knocking, one of the officers communicates with the dispatch, who spoke to Kiona earlier, asking if Kiona's number can be dialed.
1870, you want to try a call back?
But when the dispatch tried to call Kiona back, there was no answer. At this point, the officers had been at the residence for about 3 minutes, 42 seconds, knocking with no response. With nothing else they could do, the officers got in their vehicles and took off. But 2 hours after the officers left Kiona's residence, they were called back to the same address.
What happened? Damn. Hit the thumbs up button, y'all. The thumbs up button. About 2 hours later, 553 Sheldon Ave, Southeast. Wow. I forgot. What city did this take place? Yeah. Hit the thumbs up button.
553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast. For female there not breathing, callers take a lot of blood.
One emergency to an address is pretty usual, but 2 emergency calls to the same address within 2 hours of each other is everything but normal. The same 3 officers who were dispatched to 553 Sheldon Avenue around 10:30 a.m. that day were sent a second dispatch around 1 p.m. to the same address. Except this time, the call was made by Kiona's brother, Stanford Cummings. He had sounded pretty shaken on the phone, as he told the dispatch that he had walked in to find his sister unresponsive.
Oh, wow.
It looked like she had been fired at a number of times.
911 emergency.
She was shot.
From the 553 Sheldon, my sister not moving.
What's the address?
553 Sheldon, there's blood everywhere. My sister is not moving.
Okay, stand on line. You said shirt.
Wow.
Sheldon, 553 Sheldon, Southeast. It's a yellow house, clean. Hurry up.
The dispatch tried to confirm if Kiona was breathing.
I usually stop over here before I go to work to my grandma's house, and her friends was over here outside. We came in, and I didn't even come upstairs.
Ma'am, is she breathing?
I'm not a man.
I'm sorry.
But her brother was too terrified. He insisted
he calling him ma'am. Jesus. Damn it. I'm sorry. Oh, Lord Jesus. I'm sorry. Lord have mercy. You say, I'm not a ma'am. He keeps saying, ma'am. Oh, that's fucked up. Jesus. Oh, man. That's hilarious.
He didn't know because he wasn't a doctor, and the dispatch should hurry and send medics.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Please, I'm out. Yeah, somebody stabbed her or something.
She's been
It's pretty normal for people to shut down after witnessing a traumatic scene, and it looks like that's what happened with Kiona's brother. This time around, it would take 7 minutes from the moment Kiona's brother called 911 to the time they actually showed up.
Oh, Lord.
By the time the same 3 officers arrived on the scene, they found Kiona in the upstairs bedroom. But it was too late. She was already gone. The officers observed that she had been fired at 4 times, including once in her face. But that wasn't all. While searching through the house, the officers made another chilling discovery. An older woman, laying face down on the bed in one of the bedrooms, had also been fired at. She was also declared dead at the scene. Keona's brother was able to identify the older woman as his aunt, 47-year-old Charletta Baberbay. Almost immediately, a forensic team arrived on the scene to photograph it, while the officers took a look around the inside of the house this time. They noticed that Charletta had been laying on the bed under a blanket, propped up on a pillow watching a movie when she was attacked. From the placement of her body, it looked like she was completely caught off guard, and she never even got the chance to raise her head to see her attacker. She likely did not know she was in danger until it was too late.
He popped up on her.
The iPad she was watching the movie on was still playing when Charletta was found, and her earbuds were still in her ear.
Damn.
The officers also made a number of discoveries that painted a picture of what happened. Inside the same bedroom, the officers found shell cases on the floor, as well as duct tape that appeared to be smeared with red bodily fluid. The forensics took photos of everything in both bedrooms, documenting everything exactly as they were to analyze later. The officers then search areas around the house, and they find something. In an alleyway not so far from the house, they saw a box of ammunition that had been carelessly thrown away, amongst other things. It looked like whoever had committed the crime had hastily disposed of his weapons before fleeing. The discovery of the items in the alley, as well as the photos of the crime scene, was enough to kickstart an investigation. But little did the officers know that this case would take on different twists and turns that would last years.
Hit the thumbs up button.
The phantom who left a very visible trail. In an alley behind the home on Sheldon, police said they found a hastily tossed box of ammunition with 8 rounds missing, and in a plastic bag, a 9mm pistol, later matched to rounds at the crime scene.
The first step after the investigation began was to test the weapon found in the alley with the shell casings found at the scene, and it turned out to be a match.
Why did he throw it? Why he went that far? He should have took that. Damn, that was dumb. He should have drove that shit 2 states over.
Now all they had to do was find the serial number of the weapon, and they would be able to trace it to the owner. The serial number had, however, been scraped off the weapon, so the detectives went back to the house on 553 Sheldon Avenue, southeast, to search again. They concentrated the search on Charletta's room, as it looked like she had been the intended victim. Keona, it seemed, had been caught in the crossfire.
She was just there.
Upon searching Charletta's bedroom, detectives found a weapon box that appeared to be empty. It had been stuffed in a dresser full of men's clothing. Tucked inside the box, detectives hit the jackpot. They found the serial number they were looking for, as well as the purchase permit, which thankfully included the name of the woman who purchased it. They ran the serial number through their database, and it turned out the woman who bought it had reported it stolen in 2017. Further investigation into the woman brought with it a lot of information. They found out that she had filed complaints against her ex-boyfriend, who she went out with in summer 2017. The complaint was for harassment. The woman noted that after their relationship ended and the man moved out, her weapon disappeared. She noted that she knew the ex-boyfriend as Jay. Armed with this information, detectives went to speak to Charletta's family. Their aim was to figure out a connection between Jay and whoever Charletta had been living with that owned the dresser they found the weapon in. There was indeed a lot of connection between the two men. It turned out the man Charletta had been seeing was also known as Jay. Charletta's family noted that they did not know his real name, only that he went by Jay. In fact, as they were asked a lot of questions about him, it turned out there was a lot they didn't know about him.
People knew him, but knew he was there, but didn't really know much about him or anything like that. He was kind of a phantom.
But he was a phantom who made Charletta happy, so her family didn't press him for information. The family told detectives that Charletta and Jay had met in a library and had quickly hit it off. Their relationship surprised her family because she was not known to date. In fact, to her family's knowledge, she had never dated anyone until she met Jay.
Really?
Charletta had been very shy growing up and never had any boyfriends in high school. This continued into her adulthood, although her family said she desperately wanted to be in a relationship, fall in love, get married.
Damn, that's kind of sad. Damn. You never had a boyfriend, high school sweetheart, a middle school girlfriend? Damn. First kiss? That's fucking sad. Damn. That's some of your best memories when you first fall in love and have crushes and kissing girls and holding hands. Wow, that's crazy. Poor lady. Jesus. Hit the thumbs up button.
And start a family. That was always her dream.
Damn.
But somehow, she never seemed to catch anybody's interest. So when she met Jay, the family were both relieved and happy for her. She really loved Jay.
My sister, she loved him. She had never had a boyfriend before.
And at first, Jay seemed nice.
She didn't have any boyfriends really during high school, so this was her first, kind of someone who paid attention to her. And at first he seemed nice.
But as their relationship progressed, her family started to notice a few odd things about him. He was described as being very quiet. He never had a lot to say. And when he did, he usually talked about various conspiracy theories he believed were true. He didn't seem to have friends at all, and didn't have a job as far as they knew. He never went anywhere, and was always at home with Charletta. He moved in with her not long after they got together. Despite the many concerning things about him, Charletta's family welcomed him into the family. All they cared about was that he seemed to make Charletta happy.
Some people say he was a little strange, he was a little different, but they said that about my sister too. She was quiet, she wasn't a social person. So just because you're quiet and you're a little different than everyone else doesn't mean that you're a murderer.
If only they had any idea what was coming for them.
Damn, that's so sad.
They never saw him coming.
Damn, that's fucking... God, that's some sad shit. Your first boyfriend take you out. Like, literally take you out. Damn. Your first boyfriend, 47 years old, first boyfriend, that's kind of sad. Damn. It must be had like a real small town. Probably not too many. Damn, that's sad though. Damn, no. Wow. And homeboy took advantage of that shit. He took advantage of her too.
This man blindsided all of us.
According to Jacqueline Baber Bay, Charletta's mother and 25-year-old Keona's grandmother, March 13th, 2019, started out like every other day. Jacqueline owned the house on Sheldon Avenue, but Charletta, her boyfriend Jay, and Keona all lived in that house together. The house is located in a prime area in Grand Rapids and is considered one of the best places to live in Grand Rapids due to its proximity to the city center. But as great as it is to live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, there's a different side to it. A side not many people are familiar with. Grand Rapids has a high rate of crimes at a rate of 18.07 per 1,000 residents.
Wow,
and homicides account for a large number of that.
What?
Up until March 13th, though, Charletta's family has managed to stay out of trouble.
Wow.
But on that day, everything changed. According to Jacqueline Baber Bay, she left for work around 8 a.m. that morning, leaving behind Charletta, Jay, and Keona. When she left, everything seemed to be fine.
I leave the house at 8 o'clock in the morning. Everything was fine.
By the time she returned, everything had changed. She had lost a daughter and a granddaughter, all within a matter of hours. With what detectives got from Charletta's family, it was looking more and more that Jay was their likely suspect, but they still didn't have enough to find him. There were no leads or clues that could lead them to him. Detectives then questioned Charletta's family about where Charletta could have met Jay, and no one seemed to know.
So she's staying with her mom.
Family members told detectives Jay and Charletta had kept to themselves a lot, preferring to spend most of their time holed up in their room. And since they both were quiet people, this didn't concern Charletta's family very much. Detectives then tried social media, but without his real name, they didn't get very far. Charletta's family also didn't have Jay's phone number, so they couldn't even run that through the system. At this point, it seemed the investigation had hit a dead end. Detectives then decided to search through the house on Sheldon Avenue one more time.
He was a ghost.
This time, they went through it, slowly, combing through every inch of the house with precision, and it paid off. They found a shoebox hidden away deep into Charletta's closet, in a place where it would not easily be seen, almost like she was hiding it on purpose.
Wow.
And when detectives opened it up, they realized why. In the shoebox was a collection of letters between Charletta and Jay from jail. It seemed they did not meet in a library as Charletta had told her family, but rather they were pen pals when Jay was in jail. Other than him being in prison at some time, detectives found out a lot more. Starting with his real name, Daryl Demond Brown. He had disclosed that to Charletta in one of her letters, and she had kept it a secret from everyone she knew and loved. With a name, the investigation got a whole lot easier, since he had been to prison. He was already in the system, and it didn't take long for detectives to find some information about him.
She lied.
Like how he was arrested back in 2013, and a photo of him they took to Charletta's family for confirmation. They confirmed that Jay and Daryl were one and the same, but that wasn't all the detectives found out. They were also able to trace people who knew him before he came to live with the Babel Bays.
Reverend Robert Dean believes it was a couple years before the murders that he spotted Brown rummaging through his church's dumpster, found out he was homeless, and let him live for several months in Dean's New Life Church of God in Christ, until one of Brown's girlfriends, not Sherlita, paid the pastor a visit.
Reverend Dean had a lot to say about Daryl, and provided some pieces to the puzzle that was Jay.
She felt he was very nice, very mannerable, but there was that certain little element she was afraid of.
According to the Reverend, as Daryl's girlfriend was about to reveal the element of him she couldn't quite understand, Daryl himself barged into the Reverend's office.
I said, well, now I was just talking about you. And he come, well, I forbid her to talk to males. Oh, no, you're not. I said, now, you sit down. I said, it's my office.
The Reverend said as the woman was about to speak out, Daryl tried to attack her, and the Reverend had to step in to stop him from hurting her. He then told Daryl he was no longer allowed in the church, and he could never return to the church. From their investigation into Daryl's past, detectives were able to pinpoint a pattern of behavior. They managed to track down another ex of his who also happened to be the mother of one of his children. She was full of horrific stories about him. Daryl managed to plead guilty only to a misdemeanor.
Hit the thumbs up button, guys. This is good, right? This food crazy. Hit the thumbs up button.
Police had given the a 3-hour head start, said the victim's family. Sherlita's boyfriend, Darrell Demond Brown, had lived in the home on Sheldon for at least 2 years by then, but the family knew him only as Jay.
A few days after Charletta and Kiona were unalived in their home, Daryl Brown, who was now the #1 suspect, was still nowhere to be found. Charletta's family members held the officers who were dispatched to 553 Sheldon Avenue responsible. According to them, by choosing not to force their way into that house on that tragic day, they gave Daryl time to escape. He was probably still in that house the first time they showed up, and if they had listened to Kiona when she called, they could have possibly saved her life or at least arrested the man that took it.
But then you have someone calling you saying someone is trying to kill me and you won't knock down the door.
You don't know.
She could have been tied up in this house. She could anything.
But according to the authorities, the officers did all they could on that day.
It was, quiet and the doors were locked.
They defended the actions of the officers, saying they had no probable cause to break into a private property. Kiona's phone call simply wasn't enough of a reason, the authorities said.
No blood, it's a
she
shut-up
could be
house.
exaggerating about.
The house is a very protected Fourth Amendment.
Right. She could be exaggerating about, you know what I'm saying?
You got to have some pretty good reasons to go in, and there got to be something that drive them more than just a phone call.
Charletta's family insisted the officers didn't care enough and only did the bare minimum. A bare minimum that led them back to the same address a few hours too late.
They didn't care. They was here a minimum of 3 minutes, and they went on about their happy way. And then at 1 o'clock or so, you get another call
and
to the same house.
And the same
officers
come here,
now
back.
you got to bring my family out in body bags because you didn't care at 10 o'clock.
This created a lot of outrage in the community, with many people saying the officers, as well as the first dispatch who received Keona's call, failed her. This added to the pressure.
So should they have knocked the door down? Like, that's kind of, I mean, I guess she did say, how would they to know? She did say that he unalived my auntie, and now he's getting ready to get me. But they don't know whether she might have been exaggerating or not, you know? Anyway.
Of finding Daryl Brown, and within a few days after the tragic event, detectives had a pretty good timeline of where he had gone after he left the house on Sheldon Avenue. The police checked for cameras around the area after the murders. They found several videos showing where Daryl went that day. Cameras caught him walking a mile away from where the crime happened, 2 hours after the second 911 call.
As police searched for evidence, surveillance cameras caught sight of Brown on foot a mile north of the crime scene.
They found out that he stopped at different places. His movements, though, were a little erratic and confusing. For one, he stopped at the Grand Rapids Children's Museum. Cameras inside the museum recorded him going in at 3:24 p.m. and leaving 12 minutes later at 3:36 p.m. Daryl told the front desk he knew someone inside, but the staff said he couldn't wander around the museum.
Among his stops post the Grand Rapids Children's Museum. Watch as he walks with purpose to the front desk, reportedly telling workers he knew someone inside before exiting 12 minutes later.
Psychopath.
About 20 minutes after leaving the Children's Museum, another business's surveillance camera in downtown Grand Rapids recorded him walking in a different part of the city.
They got cameras everywhere now.
Detectives found out that one of Daryl's ex-girlfriends had given him a ride to that neighborhood. However, after that, he seemed to disappear. Detectives couldn't trace where he went after that point. It's like he just vanished.
Soon after, it seems Darrell Brown vanished.
At first, Daryl was just someone the investigators were interested in regarding the murders. However, as time went on, the Kent County prosecutors charged him with receiving and concealing a stolen firearm. A judge then told investigators to bring him in from anywhere in the country if he's arrested, and extradite him to Grand Rapids on the firearms charge. Unfortunately, they couldn't find him. A reward of $1,500 was offered for any information that could help locate him.
He was on the
Over
run.
the next few months, there were reports of Daryl being potentially seen in various states.
Grand Rapids police are extending their search nationwide now for a man who may be connected to 2 murders.
Detectives widened the scope of their search for Daryl way outside the state of Michigan.
Search for a dangerous man has come to ATL right here in Atlanta. The FBI wants you to be on the lookout for 45-year-old Darrell Brown.
Yeah, that's right. Now, this is a double murder investigation from Michigan, but authorities believe he may be headed to our neck of the woods.
News stations all over the country were alerted to how dangerous Daryl really was, so they could warn residents.
One of the most wanted men in America, accused of killing 2 women in the Grand Rapids home that he shared with them.
Daryl quickly climbed up the list of the 15 most wanted men in America.
I want to return now to the story we brought you just a moment ago, a nationwide manhunt for 47-year-old Daryl Brown, one of the nation's most wanted criminals following the gruesome murders of 2 women in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
But 3 years would pass, and there would be no sign of Daryl. It was like he completely banished off the surface of the earth.
He
unusual part
managed to get away 3 years.
He's been able to just completely disappear
for 3 years.
Some members of law enforcement believe Daryl never left Grand Rapids, and he's just been hiding in plain sight, right under everyone's noses.
Darrell Damon Brown is still out there, likely hiding in plain sight, nearly 3 years after the horrific double murder on Sheldon Avenue.
But unfortunately, none of Daryl's family members were willing to help detectives find him, leading them to theorize that one of them was probably hiding him.
U.S. Marshals believe Brown fled the state and may be getting help from associates or family.
To intensify the search for him and to encourage people to step forward, The authorities placed a reward of $25,000 for anyone with information that could lead to his
They raised the
capture.
stakes, $25,000.
Darrell Damon Brown, now 48, grew up in Grand Rapids, but U.S. Marshals say he also has relatives in Wisconsin, Arizona, Georgia,
was gone
and
for 4
Ohio.
years.
There's a $25,000 reward for information that leads directly to his arrest.
But unfortunately,
So 4 years went by.
this story does not end here.
Damn, this is crazy, man. Hit the thumbs up button.
Tonight, new information about the 2 victims in a fire in Grand Rapids this weekend. Crews tell us that a home on Sheldon and Buckley that's just off of Division Avenue caught fire yesterday morning near downtown Grand Rapids.
Unfortunately, the Baber Bay family story would take another heartbreaking turn in July 2020 when yet another distressing 911 call led emergency services to respond to that same house.
It's been 3 years since a killer gunned down 2 women inside their home here on Sheldon Southeast. That house is gone now, bulldozed after fire tore through it, a fire fueled by the heartbreak that came before.
A member of the local church Jacqueline attended identified the victims of the fire as Jacqueline and her 5-year-old grandson. It seemed tragedy was not getting done with the family.
A local church identified one of the victims as a church elder, Jacqueline Baber Bay. She says the other victim was her 5-year-old great-grandson, Amarian.
According to the firefighters, not much survived the fire. Captain Paul Mason of the Grand Rapids Fire Department stated that the 911 call reporting the fire was received at 9:02 a.m. The first responding crew encountered a substantial amount of fire on the front of the house, and despite cars being in the driveway, no one was outside. This raised concerns among the responders. Firefighters first discovered 65-year-old Jaqueline Baber Bay and her 5-year-old great-grandson, E.J. Cummings, in a second-floor bedroom at the rear of the house. The official cause of the fire was ruled accidental. The family had conducted a vigil for Charletta and Keona the night before, and the house fire was ignited by the candles left out that night. This casted a darker shadow on the town of Grand Rapids, increasing the pressure on the authorities to find him. In February 2020, a warrant for the arrest of Darrell Brown was issued.
Did he set the fire?
Hey, thanks for watching. Our heart goes out to the family and friends of Keona Griffin. What are your thoughts on this case?
So what happened?
Do you know of other similar cases? Let me know in a comment, and before you go, make sure you like, subscribe.
So wait a minute. So so is he still on the loose? There's so many unanswered questions. Damn, that's some sad shit, wasn't it? Man, that's some sad shit. Wow. I wonder, did he set that fire? Like, how did the fire start? Did he come back and burn the house down? You know what I'm saying? Did he, like, that's what I want to know. Did he set that fire? That's what I want to know. I'm curious about that. You know? Anyway, what do y'all think about this video, man? Leave your comments, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to Charles on Israel. Appreciate it.